Good morning and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is April 10th, 2024. This is episode 133. This is a podcast by a dreamer for dreamers, stand-up comedian and actor and improviser Paul Green, sharing my journey to all of you out there listening, which I have now confirmed is at least 3 people. And you know who you are. JJ, I'm just going to say your initials. I was told that a good friend of mine and his wife listen to me every morning, which is a little more kinky than I... How you guys doing? All right. And I also know my mom watches every day. And then Tia, who is evidently somebody who knows me from my past and does not want to identify herself. I think she likes the anonymity. And I think she likes the power of knowing who I am and me not knowing who it is. I see you, Tia. So, those of you who have been following me the last couple of days know that I have been talking a lot about the need for discipline in honing my craft and how that has always been a struggle for me. And so I have set a new goal, which was actually a goal set for me by a comedian friend of mine named Andrew. I will not say his last name because he also likes a little anonymity as well, but he's an incredibly talented, funny stand-up comedian who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and I asked him if he would help me get funnier and be a better writer and comedian overall, and he was gracious enough to agree. And so anyway, he told me that I need to be writing at least 3 jokes a day, 3 new bits. And so I have been doing that. I have also set a goal to do 10 squats, 20 push-ups, and 20 sit-ups a day. And I am also not drinking sugar soda, so high fructose corn syrup soda for 6 days out of the week. I'm giving myself 1 cheat day on that. 2 days in, I am 100% on all goals. And as a special treat to all of my fans here at the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, I will be sharing my 3 new jokes that I just write every day, so you can get a little head start on any of these jokes if they actually make it to stage one day. And sort of the idea is most of them probably won't. All right. So joke number 1, let's see how this goes. So I play basketball at the gym a lot, and I started playing with younger guys, and they started calling me OG, which at first I thought was a compliment, but now I'm realizing they were actually just calling me old. If you don't know what OG stands for, it stands for original gangster. So either they think that I'm just old, or maybe they thought that, I used to bang. You look at me and you're like, oh yeah, that guy used to gang bang in his modern suburban middle class white neighborhood. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they just think I'm old. All right, that's joke number 1 idea or whatever. I don't really know how this next one goes. It's just kind of more of a thought. So I ate at Twin Peaks restaurant last night. If you don't know what Twin Peaks is, it's a restaurant kind of like Hooters, actually, no, it's exactly like Hooters. It's literally identical. It's just a bunch of sad, lonely, middle-aged men and a bunch of really young, attractive women who are finishing up their nursing degrees. And somehow they give these men hope so that they'll tip them more. And I actually think that there are men who are at Twin Peaks who actually think that they have a chance with some of these young, incredibly attractive waitresses. I mean, these servers are just getting DMs after DMs of like rich rappers and athletes inviting them to pick them up in their Ferrari and take them to the VIP club or the VIP section at the club. And yet this, middle-aged 40-year-old white dude is like, oh yeah, she's going to go home with me. Oh yeah, she doesn't want that guy. She wants the assistant manager at Ross wearing his New Balance sneakers. I think I have a chance here. All right, something like that. Oh, I don't know about this one, guys. So I don't consider myself a super progressive person, but I am progressive on one element, and that is I'm against slut shaming. I do not believe in slut shaming because let's just call them what they really are. They're women who are willing to sleep with men who don't deserve it. They aren't sluts. They are doing God's work. Matter of fact, I think that the government of counter domestic terrorism should be hiring these sluts because I'll tell you what, I think it would reduce school shooters. Yeah, there, I said it. I think that the government, Homeland Security, or whoever tracks counter-terrorists should just hire a couple sluts, and then they should just keep track of every man who joins an incel Facebook group. And as soon as that guy signs up for the Facebook group, they just send a helicopter over to Stacy's house. They say, Stacy, we need you. Come with us. Stacy just goes and knocks on the guy's door. Of course, his mom answers. She's got an apron on and some oven mitts. Oh, excuse me. Hi, can I help you? And she's like, you don't know me, but is your son down in the basement on his computer because I need to sleep with him right now? It is a matter of national security. All right, everybody. That's why. That's what came to my mind last night, where I was actually at Twin Peaks and actually met a really nice, attractive server named Coco, who is now following me online and said that she might come to one of our shows, Jim Perry. Okay. So, I'll tell you, I'm actually having fun just committing to just sitting down and just trying to come up with a joke, trying to come up with a bit, letting go of the preciousness of it all. What do I mean by preciousness? This idea that like, oh, I need to sit down and I need to write the next funniest bit ever right now. And, oh, this isn't funny. And sort of getting that writer's block, sort of self-sabotaging, won't even move the pen across the paper. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to write whatever joke comes to mind. And I'm going to do my best. It's not like I'm like, yeah, whatever, this doesn't matter. It's like, no, this is the thought that came to my mind. How might this work out as a joke, as a comedy bit? And according, again, to my mentor, Andrew, who just says, if you're doing this right, you should be throwing out 90% of what you write. Like 90% of what you write is probably not good enough. I actually remember must have been an interview or a podcast or something with Brian Regan. And somebody asked him something along the lines of, how did you become a great comedian? Or, how did you sort of break through into the next level of comedy? And Brian Regan said, well, I learned the difference between good jokes and great jokes, and I only told the great jokes. So I feel that is now the process that I'm engaging in and that I'm seeking to evolve and grow to, which is just a much more concerted effort to really figure out what makes a great joke, what makes a good joke, what makes an okay joke, and having the commitment and the discipline to put together a set of only great jokes. Because when I go watch a lot of my old routines where I'm doing actual material, there's so much of it that I go, oh, that joke wasn't quite, that wasn't quite there yet, or yeah, that premise, and sure, the audience is laughing, but there's a big difference between an audience who's going to laugh at you because they already like you and they're having a good time anyway, and so they just kind of want to laugh, as opposed to like really hitting the audience with material that just is undeniably funny and honed and tight. And, I've talked a lot about this before, but because of my improvisational background, I'm actually so much more comfortable off script. And I never really had to develop a discipline for writing and crafting material. And so that's the name of the game that I am really seeking to challenge myself. It's like, man, if I can get that improvisational skill set and really start to hone my writing craft, I think I'll be in a good position. So, since I know he's listening, I had a good conversation with my good friend and booker and comedian and club owner, Jim, yesterday, and he called me up and we ended up talking for maybe an hour and a half or so and just had a real great conversation, and he extended a handful of opportunities to me, which I really appreciated and meant a lot to me, and started to get me thinking about, some other opportunities that I can maybe take him up on. And it also got me thinking more about the conversation that I had with my high school buddy a couple weeks ago. So for those of you who don't watch every episode, if you're just joining me. So a good friend of mine from high school who, again, I've known for, over 20 years now. He and I were really tight in high school and then have kept in touch over the years. And he's getting sort of into a coaching type side business. From what I can gather, it feels like a side business, to where he's providing executive coaching to, sounds like, a lot of entrepreneurs and business type people. And he offered to meet with me and give me some advice. And the conversation that we had, it sort of geared towards this idea of how much of making it, whatever making it means to you, how much is making it in life really within our control, or in my situation, within my control, and how much of it actually is dumb luck. How much of it is you just happen to be at the right place at the right time, and lightning strikes, and then this life-changing thing happens. And at the time, I definitely had a lot of assumptions that maybe it is a little more on the luck side and a little less on the what can I do to make this happen side. And that even if I am doing everything that I can conceive of doing to make it happen, there still is this sort of missing ingredient of luck. And I don't know what the ratio is. I don't know what the formula is. But one of the things that he mentioned as an example is, he goes, Paul, why are we friends? Like, how much of our friendship is luck? Or how much of that is because of how you showed up when we were in high school? And he tells this story. So we were both drummers, and I was on the drum line, and he wanted to be on the drum line. And one day, I guess I was in the band room practicing the drums, and he came up and expressed an interest or whatever. I don't remember this at all, so I'm sort of paraphrasing how he remembers it as best as I can. And he just said that I was just excited to show him stuff. So I started teaching him drum stuff. And then he had just mentioned a couple of other behaviors of mine throughout our friendship about how I had reached out in a certain situation. And he just goes, so how much of our friendship is it just luck, or how much of it is it that you showed up in a certain way in my life, and because of that behavior, it has helped generate this lifelong friendship and relationship. And I was thinking about that yesterday when I got that call from Jim as well, of going, wow, this is really cool. And it may seem like a small thing, but to me, it wasn't a small thing at all. I'm going, here is somebody who I respect and admire, who has started a comedy club, which has got to be one of the most difficult things to do. But because of his choice to show up how he wanted to show up, has provided this a remarkably invaluable resource to me. I mean, I can just not even begin to iterate how rare his comedy club is, and for me, and the opportunity that it provides for myself and for other comedians. And we've had a lot of discussions about how there are a lot of comedians who fail to appreciate and recognize how rare that is. But to have, first of all, a comedy club in the first place. Secondly, a comedy club that will book me. Third, a comedy club that will book me and actually pays me. Fourth, doesn't require me to bring an audience. Boom. Will give me more than, 3 to 5 minutes. Gives me, 10, 12 minutes. Gives me 10 to 12 minutes a show. Gives me up to 5 shows a month, including his open mic. It's like all of those factors almost does not exist for a stand-up comedian who is, not famous. Obviously, if you're famous, then, it's a whole different ballgame. But for an up-and-coming stand-up comedian like myself, it's like I lived in LA for 7 years, and that opportunity does not exist. There is not a club in Los Angeles, or probably anywhere else right now, who would work with me in that capacity. That Jim works with me, and the opportunity that I have at his club. And then he called me yesterday and wanted to brainstorm some different ideas. And I really thought about, by the way, this has given me some credit, which I know I'm not really good at doing. I'm pretty down on myself. But this is me taking what my buddy Albert had talked about, in our life coaching session about, how much is my success luck and how much is it based off of the actions and my attitude and how I show up. And I was going, well, there's no way that this phone call would be happening if I didn't show up in a certain way and bring a certain energy and bring a certain gratitude and bring a certain professionalism and bring a certain amount of respect and appreciation and making sure that when I do have this opportunity that I make the most of it. And so there's been some humble pie that I've had to eat, which, by the way, as a dreamer, you need to develop a healthy appetite for humble pie, because you'll be eating it every day. I eat it almost every day. And I just had to go, maybe, just maybe, the ratio of luck and effort is actually more weighted towards effort and attitude and behavior, and maybe there is still a little bit of luck required, but maybe that luck piece isn't as significant as I think I was making it out to be, as I really had to think about this. And maybe the luck piece, or me believing or choosing to believe that the ratio was really weighted on luck, and then maybe if I just show up a little bit or put a little bit of effort just to kind of be in the game, then that's all I can really do anyway, because the rest of it is contingent upon some big lucky out of the blue finding a lottery ticket with the winning numbers on the side of the road type whirlwind of luck. And I think that the believing that way was an excuse for me not to try as hard, and was an excuse for me to maybe be a little lazy, and an excuse to kind of put my hands up and go, well, I tried, it didn't work out for me, but it wasn't going to work out anyway because it was luck. I just didn't get lucky. So not my fault. It's luck's fault. It's fate's fault. And, well, that was fun, but, I walked up and down a couple of streets, didn't find a lottery ticket. So, hey, what are you going to do? Hey, I gave it a try. Hey, I don't know. I became a New Yorker right there. So that is the adjustment that I'm making within my own thought process, my own belief systems, is going, all right. I've had a lot of really cool things happen. I've developed some really close, meaningful relationships over the years, and maybe I had a little bit more to do with that than my ego would allow me to give myself credit for. And maybe what that also means is that there is a lot more that I can actually influence directly without relying on a lucky hand of fate to bring to pass whatever it is that I am hoping to bring to pass in my life and with my dreams and my goals. So there you go. That's what's been on my mind, and thanks to Jim and, well, JJ, I will keep you and your wife's names anonymous unless anybody has even a basic Google capacity. And I will continue to keep you updated. Oh, and speaking of Albert, I'm going to be meeting with him again today with a little follow-up meeting, so I will see how that goes. Other than that, I will just continue on this this journey of goals, writing every day, and starting to see if I actually feel good enough about any of the jokes that come out of this that I may actually want to try it on stage, see if I can hone them a little bit more, and see what happens. So anyway, thank you all so much for listening. I hope your dreams are going well, that you are maybe willing to give yourself a little bit of credit for how you've showed up and the things that you have been able to create and manifest through your behavior, through your actions, through your attitude, and that maybe whatever it is that you're reaching, you can feel a sense of confidence that maybe you have a little bit more influence over that. Maybe you're giving yourself credit for, because that's where I'm getting at. Just, maybe I need to give myself a little more credit and trust that if I can expand the effort and the attitude and how I'm showing up, that I actually can influence this dream that I have, and that I don't need to just throw my hands up and turn it over to a lucky lotto ticket. All right, everybody. So that is the update for the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, April 10th, episode 133. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.